Hello Taurus. Great to have you here. My name is Shona. Today's reading is a general love forecast for November 2025. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Taurus. And I want to talk a little bit about the solar return time frame, and I feel like it's even more true for, especially if you're like past your Saturn return, which is traditionally after 31 years old. Solar return time frame can be very powerful. And they've always been powerful, like even when you're at the age of 5. But I feel like when after we have experienced the hardship that is the Saturn transit, we become a little bit more aware of our sense of mortality. We become more aware of each passing year. And this is not meant to be depressing. It's meant to, shed light on a situation where I feel like the solar return time frame is when, your sun is transiting your natal sun. So for example, if you have sun in Taurus, the natal sun is transiting through the Taurus time frame, and it signifies the sun coming back to meet its maker, okay? So this is a really, really good time for us to take stock of where we've been and where we're trying to go. And I also feel for many of you, for this month, memories plays a very, very vital part. And I feel like for many of you, there's this sense about wanting to relive a childhood, wanting to kind of like go back to a simpler time, wanting to kind of like relive that whatever past experience where you were that starry-eyed kid before life and responsibilities were imposed upon you, and you start to feel the weight of just existence. You wanted to go back or capture the memories and the feelings of that simpler time when you might have been a child, and you saw something that really made you just starry-eyed, made your eyes widen with wonder, made you feel alive, or made you believe in magic, I feel. So that's what I'm sensing. So I saw two images for you while I was shuffling the cards for your reading for this month, mid-month actually. The first one is I see this two people. So it's an outdoor scene. There's a bonfire, like a bonfire, and there's like a tent. Okay, it's like one of those old school tent where it's like rectangular. Okay. And inside the tent is there are two people sitting and talking, and there's like a light in between them, like an oil lantern. It's like olden times, okay? And all I can see is the silhouette of the people, like their shadows. So I can't make out if it's a man, if they're both male, like if one is male or one is female, or one is a child and one's an adult. But I feel like they're just excitedly talking. So they have their little horse in the background that they have possibly ridden in order to get to that location. They're camping out for the night, and they're so animatedly, excitedly talking. In the background, there's a moon, so it signifies to me that, it's late in the night. They're talking and conversing and just very, very excited. They have a lot of stories to share with each other, but it seems like they're both traveling together on this voyage, so they might have been talking all night, all day, and yet they're still talking. Like they're just, I feel like you've met somebody that you just, you can talk all day, all night too, and not get bored of each other, which is really rare in this world, I feel. So there's definitely a lot of commotion, a lot of animated conversations, a lot to share with another person, a lot of catching up, and just a lot of communication happening between you and another person. And I feel like there might be even that you're finding somebody that you can't be away from, or you're finding somebody that it's just like right up your alley. You can talk and talk and talk and not get bored of one another, and never run out of things to say, because awkward silences are really awkward. And I feel like you found somebody that no matter what, You can talk to them all night, all day. So, anyways, I'm belaboring the point, okay? So that's the first scene. The second scene is I see a circus. You know, the circus tent with a lot of colors and a lot of different colored flags is being resurrected. It reminds me almost like the Cirque du Soleil, but it's a little bit smaller. And I feel like this is more of a 18th century type of a circus. So it's getting resurrected. It's getting like blown up. Okay, so it's going up. And then I see a procession of people heading into the circus. Some of them have children, and they have like cotton candy, or they have like other I don't know what they have. Balloons. There we go. So they're heading into the door, the opening flaps of the circus. And in there I see like an elephant, okay? The elephant on the little unicycle, which is really weird. And elephants, people say that, you know, an elephant never forgets. So immediately what I saw was you're either going in there because the tent is like symbolic of your memory bank, okay? Going in there to retrieve stories, to retrieve and review and go through your Rolodex, to go through especially your memory bank, to once again go back in that moment in time when you were starry-eyed and very like hopeful, and you had a lot of things like just a lot of things that made you just, you know, wide-eyed with wonder. Okay, you're trying to capture that moment again. And I feel almost like things have been a little bit hard. I feel like for the past few months, many of you might have been in some type of a situation where you're just doing your own thing because you feel like whoever was around you didn't get you, like, you know, quote unquote, get you. Like they didn't understand you. Conversations might have dried up. And there might not have been a lot of commonalities between you and that person. And as a result, you just feel like you feel a little bit emotionally estranged. You feel a little bit like the conversation might have dried up. And so now you're reverting back to a previous moment in time where things were new, where you were filled with wonder and bewilderment, okay? So that's what I'm sensing. I'm going to pull out 3 more cards, and then we'll go into your reading for this this month. So can you show me 10 of Swords? Okay, who are we dealing with here? It's not showing me much. Who are we dealing with? Okay. I just did the Aries reading, and this image reminds me of the Aries reading. If you're dealing with an Aries, there might have been some new information coming to light regarding, you know, third parties. Okay, so I'm definitely seeing that. I feel like there might be a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. We have here the 10 of Swords, which is a situation where somebody might have reneged on their responsibilities, okay? And in a more severe way, somebody stepping out on a relationship, because we have here the 7 of Swords. And then we also have the 2 of Coins, juggling. We also have 6 of Coins. This is a situation where there might have been some financial misdealings associated with a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. So that's what I'm getting first of all. So I just wanted to clear that up. Okay, so let me just talk about the energy for this this month for you guys. I feel like there is a coming together between you and another person. And I definitely see that sense of, you know, having a lot of discussions. There's a lot of activity, a flurry of things happening around you. And I feel like that might be why you are excitedly having these conversations with another person. For some of you, this could be brewing all around you in your work environment. We have here the 7 of Pentacles, and this is the work card, okay? And I feel like there is somebody in your work environment that you have been heavily communicating with, because there are so many activities and things and events happening, and you're trying to make sense of it. I see you almost like as a bobblehead. You know, every time we move a bobblehead from one place to the next, their head bobs back and forth until it runs out of momentum, right? I feel like you're plopped down here, you're plopped here, and you're plopped here. It's like you're wearing many hats in your work environment. You're putting out fires in your work environment. You're doing a lot of things, taking a lot of responsibilities, and wearing many hats. Where you have to shift gears from doing this today and doing another task the next day, or even within the same day. So I feel like there's a flurry of activities, a flurry of events. You're interacting heavily with a lot of other people. And what I'm seeing as well, we have here the Ace of Swords and the Seven of Coins. Okay, so this is kind of like scoping out the territory. I'm also feeling as well, really catching somebody's eyes, okay? Like catching somebody's attention, or somebody's really capturing your attention. And for many of you, I feel like this is some type of a workplace flirtation, workplace romance, workplace attraction that's coming in strongly in the picture. I'm also feeling you kind of weighing out your options, okay? Doing this, weighing out the pros and cons. Okay, so I see this as sort of like somebody snaps their finger and then the other person comes running. So I feel like you're definitely really heavily in charge in your work environment, where people do what you ask. They're answering your beck and call. And I feel like if it's a person that you're dealing with, it's like clockwork. Whenever, for example, whenever you text them, they text right back. Whenever you call them, they call right back. Whenever you ask them something, they always respond. So it's like clockwork, and it's somebody who's very reliable, somebody who's very interested, and somebody who's very consistent. So you're dealing with someone who's like very much about clockwork, which is really nice. And especially for you guys, earth signs love that consistency, and they love to be in an environment where they don't have to play the guessing game. I mean, every one of us likes a little bit of unpredictability, and in a sense, just a little bit of drama to keep things interesting. But I feel like you're dealing with someone who's like very much on the same page as you. They want to communicate as much as you do, and they're really enamored and smitten by you, where if you send them a text, they send a text right back. And so you don't have to play that guessing game. So I feel like you're dealing with a person who's very emotionally, really mature, okay? We have here the King of Cups. For some of you, this could be a water sign, but I'm seeing a lot of signs here. So I feel like they're very emotionally mature. And when a person is very emotionally mature, they don't have to play games. They tell you how they feel. They don't push you. They're not one to force you to make a decision. They don't give out ultimatums. They just simply let you know how they feel. They put their feelings on the line because they realize, the sense of mortality, like life's too short. Why play games? Why beat around the bush? They're letting you know how they feel. And I feel like this is somebody that you've seen nothing but consistency from their end. And I feel like that quality makes them really attractive in your eyes, okay? This is somebody as well, I'm sensing that they might be a little bit at a distance from you. So you don't get to see them on a regular basis. So for those of you who might be working, they might be a contractor. They come into your work environment a few days out of the week and then they're gone. Or it's somebody you're communicating with from a distance who might be in the same industry, who might, I feel like, same agency, different umbrella, like under the same umbrella, different agencies. They're not always around. I also see a lot of remote communication, but either way, there's a lot of communication between you and this person, and they're very consistent. This is somebody as well. The Two of Wands is what compelled me to say that they might be at a distance from you, because this is a relationship card, but one person is not in the picture. But I said propel because I'm seeing here this swift movement. The globe is being, moved around. Okay, so I feel time difference for many of you, between you and this person. I'm also seeing potentially making travel plans, planning to come see each other as well. That's coming up. And then I'm also sensing as well, for many of you, there might have been some type of I'm seeing a love really blossoming, but I'm feeling like it's under the surface. Like there's definitely a very strong undeniable attraction. It's masked by work and obligation. So, somebody might really, really, really want to communicate with you, and they might work with you. And so they, rather than just telling you, hey, I really enjoy your company, why don't we talk more? They come to you and they ask work related questions because they don't really know how to approach you. You might do the same to them, because I feel like a lot of Taurus people do that as well. So you might be doing the same thing to them. So I feel like that, yes, there is, mutual love, mutual attraction. This is a really strong attraction card for me. Everything is under the surface. There's that heart underneath, and then there is a stoppage in communication. Okay, so it's like things are felt very strongly. It's almost like you can cut the tension in the room with a knife, and things are felt like, I'm seeing, and this is a very tactile imagery, things are felt on your skin, like you feel the chemistry, you feel that magnetic attraction, like you kind of zing each other, but things are not discussed, okay? Like the attraction is not discussed, things are not talked about, okay? And so you might, stay up all night talking about everything else except the emotion. So that's what I'm getting here. I feel for many of you, we have here the Hierophant. This is your card. You're in an environment where you're shaping a lot of people, you're mentoring a lot of people, you're teaching a lot of people. And so you're in a position where you have to be really careful. Not that this is a warning, but I feel like because you're so visible, because you're shaping, you have huge influence, you're shaping young minds. You're very, very careful about what you do. And I feel like, the nature of the work is really keeping you on the straight and narrow path. It's keeping you from doing the things that are morally, it's keeping you away from the things that are morally wrong. And so you feel like, I'm sensing there are things that you want to do, but you're very, very, you have a really strong ethical code that you abide by, because personally it's what you abide by. It's like your own personal moral code. But then I also feel like, because of the work that you do, the nature of the work that you do, it even forces you, to be more straight and narrow, because you have a huge influence on other people. So you want to set a good example. This could be because you're a teacher. It could be because you're a parent. It could be because you're a mentor. It could be a myriad of things. But like, you're trying your best not to stray, not to do the wrong things, because there's a lot riding on it. But also personally, because that's just, your moral, ethical code. And then I'm also sensing there might have been a lot of things that you wanted to do, but you're just like, you were very, very risk averse, okay? I'm also feeling as well, give me just a moment. I'm trying to figure out which way this energy is coming from, like if it's you or if it's the other person. I feel like there's a message coming in. Somebody waited too long. Somebody waited too long. Somebody feels like you took too long, they waited too long, or they felt like you weren't reciprocating, and so they walked away. And this is strongly love, because my heart hurts. So let me just say this, okay? This is the other person that you're dealing with, okay? This is somebody that, never mind the name of this card. Whenever I see somebody like this, or whenever this card comes out, I look at it as somebody who's like, their heart has been open. It's like their heart chakra has been activated. Okay, this is a person that has been that takes many risks in life. Okay, they've been hurt many times. I mean, he's lost an eye. His hair is all disheveled. He's got that tree in the pit of his stomach, which means it's somebody who's a very old soul. They've been reincarnated many times. They've learned many lessons. They're a very old soul. And I also feel like, they're very much guided by their intuition, and they're not afraid to take risks. You, on the other hand, are very risk adverse. And I feel like some of you might stay in a situation that is past its expiration date because you hang on, you try to fix things. And I feel like there's definitely a situation here where you're staying in it, possibly a love relationship, and you're not feeling that excitement anymore. You're not feeling like it's gonna, last your entire lifetime. It feels a little bit dry. It feels a little bit uninspiring. It feels like you're not talking to the other person anymore. And it just feels to me like the passion and the chemistry might be gone out of that relationship. You're definitely torn between this here. Do I move ahead and make like seek more opportunities, restart my dating life, going out into the world, breaking free from this, going out into the world and find the one I truly love? Or do I stay in this situation that is subpar but bearable because it's the safer choice, because of duties, because of obligation, because that is what is expected of me. And if I stray from it, people might oppose my choice. So I feel like you're definitely in a relationship here where there's a lot of expectations, and it could even be family, social, whatever expectations. And it's something that you want to walk away from because you feel like your heart wants something else, but you're not at a point where you can, you're not at a point where you're ready just yet. I also feel like, on the other hand, this is also for many of you changing jobs. Okay. Many of you might be in a public sector, or especially in a work environment that is very institutionalized and that is very safe. So this is what I would call like education, like in an institution of education, college, university, high school, whatever. And then I also feel like it's very safe. There's pension, there's retirement, there's union even. And then I feel like you're contemplating, like, should I try something else? Should I try something a little bit entrepreneurial? Should I try something a little bit more creative? The King of Cups, the cup energy rules creativity. It rules our heart. It rules our passion. It rules the things that are not as safe, but it has a really strong, undeniable pull. And it's pulling us in that direction. And I feel like many of you might be ending something in order to start something brand new that might not be as safe, but I feel like it pulls and tugs so much at your heartstring that it's undeniable. For others of you, I feel like, you're going against tradition. You're definitely like flipping over. I'm seeing like, that expression, like so and so would turn over in their grave. It's because you're defying years and decades, or even like generations of expectations. You're going after what your heart wants, and I feel like in the process, people might not understand. People might be like this, naysayers, or people telling you, what are you doing? Why are you trying to stand out? Why are you trying to go against tradition? Why are you trying to be an oddball? This is not like you. Are you having a midlife crisis? Or why are you doing this? They're not going to understand. But I feel like for you guys, Taurus, you guys are so patient. And, you work at things and you hang on and you don't swim upstream, right? That's not what Taurus people do. But when enough's enough. Ten of Swords. the end of the line. You know when something is like past its expiration date. Well, you know when something can't be fixed. You know what your heart is really yearning after. And people can talk, people can, defy, people can tell you that's a bad idea, don't go for it. But I feel like at this point in your life, you're just like, I've worked at it. I've worked at it. Don't tell me I haven't tried. Don't tell me I haven't given it my all. Don't tell me I've exhausted all possibility. Don't tell me that I didn't do enough. Because I feel like there's a situation here. You're like, it's not going to get fixed. It's not going to work, okay? And so you're ready for something new. What I'm feeling here for many of you, I feel like you're reliving a situation in the past, or you might be thinking about something that happened in the past. And let me just see how recent this is, okay? I keep seeing that tent, the memory bank. Flipping through the Rolodex, going through the memory bank, possibly going through like, how back in the day, this is recent. We have like the desktop computers and the PC, and if the PC is, it stores all the information, right? So some of you might be hooking up to old computers and trying to access pictures from old computers. Looking at like memorabilia or photographs. You might be going to see family members. They might have older pictures of you, and you're possibly looking at that. So I definitely have here a very strong person that you are very, very much emotionally invested in. A really strong person. Someone who's very spiritual as well. Someone who's very much single, okay? But let me just see, how recent is this? That memory bank, can you tell me what's in it? Tell me what's in it. A time when you didn't have as much responsibility. A time when life wasn't as hard. 10 of Wands. This is, being inundated with a lot of responsibility, a lot of chores, a lot of tasks, a lot of things that you have to do. When it's in the reverse, it's sort of like when these things didn't weigh down, when these things didn't matter, when you could make decisions freely. And then I have as well, water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Or this is a time where, you had a lot of messages. You were possibly single. Possibly hearkening back to a time where you were single, or going through the memory bank, reliving a time, or it might have been somebody that you've met during that time, or somebody you were with, or somebody that you were thinking about. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of bachelorhood, so I don't know if there are a lot of Taurian males watching this. But I'm feeling like, a time where we could make decisions, a time when we weren't weighed down with a lot of responsibilities, a time when we can give our love freely. Some of you might be in a relationship, and I feel like the relationship is kind of like on its last leg. It seems like it's not going to happen in an abrupt, screeching halt, but I feel like it's heading towards the inevitable. And you have something new, something brand new in the picture. And I see a lot of trepidation about starting this new thing. Ace of Coins, for some of you, this could be a work situation too. It's like something might be coming to a screeching halt. You have a decision to make. And I feel like, opting for the new, okay? What do you advise here for Taurus people? What I have here is the Queen of Wands, and this is sort of like being nourished, okay? So this is like the fairy godmother card, okay? Whatever nourishes you, whatever makes you thrive, whatever allows you to grow, it's never going to be a bad thing. So as pragmatic as you are, if you are confronted with a decision, right? the head or heart choice? Do we go with what stirs our passion, or do we make that rational choice? I feel like this is a card that comes in to tell you that there isn't really a right or a wrong choice. It's just every choice that we make provides us with a new experience that will allow us to grow. So I feel like you give yourself a lot of anxiety and a lot of unnecessary stress by looking down the path of each individual choice that you have to make, when in fact you should approach it like it's a new choice. It creates a new path. And